Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We are back once again for some more Formula 1 22 driver career mode. We are at the halfway point of the season now in season 3. We're here in Great Britain coming off a great dramatic race in Canada. If you guys haven't seen that, be sure to hit the link up top and go watch that. Definitely worth the watch. Charles Leclerc gets taken out once again for the second time in a row, and then we had a photo finish, pretty much just winning the race against our rival Sergio Perez, who after 4 seasons we've kind of been going back and forth with each other through the races. We are currently 2 points behind him in the Drivers' Championship, so we're looking to make a change to that here in Great Britain. I honestly think that he is a little bit scared of me because every time I seem to approach him, he just tends to like lock up or something like that, just making stupid mistakes when I'm around him, and it allows me to kind of just easily overtake him. So he definitely has the pace. He just, I guess, needs a little bit more focus, a little bit more determination and clutch to try and pass me in these races and keep his lead in the Drivers' Championship. However, as a team, Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen are doing a lot better than Charles Leclerc and I in this first half of the season. They're almost 50 points ahead of us in the Constructors' Championship. That's more just because Charles Leclerc has been taken out literally twice. One time by a Red Bull, the other time I believe it was George Russell in Imola, but he's been taken out, just DNF'd, so he hasn't been able to score points in the last 2 races, which obviously has a great effect in the Constructors' Championship. But we put up our first hot lap here in Great Britain, and we are 3/100ths of a second behind Sergio Perez, currently in a Red Bull sandwich. Lando Norris, who's been having a great season in that McLaren in P4, and Lewis Hamilton is in P5 currently. Mercedes has had a little bit of a drop off in their car development. They're not even in the top 3 right now. I believe we are number 1 now. We've recovered after the regulation changes from last season. Then we got Red Bull in P2, and then McLaren, surprisingly, or not really surprisingly, I kind of developed that car a lot when I was there, but they are in P3, and then Mercedes is in P4. However, their driver lineup is definitely a lot better than McLaren. Lando Norris, I'd say arguably, he's probably the 3rd best driver on the grid, maybe 4th. And then after that, it would be George Russell probably for the Mercedes. But there's Robert Schwartzman, who has not been having a great season whatsoever, and he is kind of dragging McLaren down versus having Lewis Hamilton and George Russell for the Mercedes. But we passed the S section here, purple sector 1, 1/10 up currently on the previous flyer. We approached the final chicane, and we actually gained like 3/10, but I don't know why. I decided to stay in 3rd gear here, try and keep the traction, but I ended up losing like a 10th and a half almost of time through the final corner. Still a purple sector 2, but it's going to be a green sector 3, and we are going to be in P2. Sergio Perez is starting on pole position. He beats us out by 2/1000ths of a second. So that mistake right there just costed us a pole position. But I'm pretty confident in the pace that I have on this track, and especially against the other drivers, because if I didn't make that mistake, I'd 100% be on pole position. So let's get into this race. Let's try and reclaim the lead of this Drivers' Championship that we lost in Imola. Alright, so that was a super tight qualifying. The top 7 all within 2/10ths of a second. We lose out to Sergio Perez by 2/1000ths. Absolutely unbelievable, but hopefully that means that this is going to be a great race here. I mean, it's Silverstone. It's probably one of the best racing tracks out there on the calendar. We're looking for another win here, trying to keep up this momentum off of Canada. We got 3 Brits starting behind us too, so I'm sure they're all going to be trying to win their own home Grand Prix. But let's get on the grid here. Let's get this race started, and let's see if we can secure another win for Ferrari and take the lead of the Drivers' Championship here. Here we go for the British Grand Prix. Trying to pass Sergio Perez here to start this race. We got 5 red lights, and this race is underway here. And we kind of squeeze out Lando. Oh my goodness, I think that was Hamilton. It might have been Verstappen trying to go down the middle. But we get overtaken by George Russell to start this race, down into P3. We got to keep up with them because I really want to win this race. Oh! Perez locks up again. I think we almost hit George Russell there, but he somehow manages to keep the lead. But Russell's got the run on him now, trying to go up the outside, go into the turn one here. We're also gonna have a look here on both of them, and a little bit of traffic. There's really no room to do anything here as Lando gets in on this fight. Side by side, Russell and Perez fighting for position. Down into the first DRS zone, Russell takes the lead. Verstappen overtakes Lando Norris. We run wide, and Perez loses out on the top step. He's going for the move on George Russell. Verstappen now joining this fight. He overtakes Lando Norris, going into Cobb's corner. We gotta leave him space. We're not trying to relive the moment between Verstappen and Hamilton. We go for the switcheroo. And we got, oh my goodness, Russell and Perez bumping wheels a little bit. A lot of action here on the opening 2 laps. We put up a purple sector 1. I didn't even notice that. We gotta save our battery too. As, oh, Verstappen actually loses out to Lando Norris. He reclaims P4. Perez going for the move on George Russell once again. They are fighting, and this is allowing me to keep up here. Hopefully we can start to get away from these people behind us. Let's see here. We might get a chance on George Russell and Sergio Perez once again. Sergio Perez trying to see if he can have a look down the outside there. I kind of backed out of that corner. Not saying aggressive. Oh, a little bit of a lockup. Going into the final chicane here as we go on to lap 4. Still trailing the Mercedes and the Red Bull. We got a 3-way constructors battle here for the race win here in Britain. And we got a Brit currently leading this British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Have another look here with DRS. We need a good exit out of this corner here. Let's see if Perez, I don't think he got too good of an exit. It looks like George Russell might have gapped him a little bit. I don't think there's going to be too much action going to this next corner here. Yeah, we need to make a move because our tires are starting to go here. We're going to push right before this DRS zone, get as close as we can, and then just go for the move with DRS. Gotta be a little bit careful. Try to avoid contact with George Russell and Sergio Perez, but staying on the gearbox. We got the DRS, we might get Perez here. George Russell might be a sitting duck. He might get double overtaken here as we're going 3 wide into the next turn. And we're going wheel to wheel with Sergio Perez. We push him wide and we take the lead of this race on lap 4 with the double overtake. We've got a double overtake on George Russell and Sergio Perez. We take the lead of this race, but now we're kind of going to be screwed here as we won't have DRS. Actually, we're almost 1 second ahead of Sergio Perez, which means that he wouldn't have DRS, but I think he is going to have DRS down this first straight here. So let's see if he can close the gap on us. No sign of Charles Leclerc, though. I actually need to get a teammate status on him. He's not even in the top 5, unfortunately. Teammate status.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 3.3 seconds. Okay, they're on old soft. They're currently 6th.
Okay, so he's in P6, so not too bad. I definitely like him to be higher. He needs to start scoring some serious points because he's only got 14 points up on the board right now. Me and Sergio Perez are up at 70, I believe. Well, let's get into the pit lane here. Got these fresh set of mediums on. I don't understand why the pit lane limiter is 60 here. As I believe Verstappen, nope, that is Sergio Perez is staying out. George Russell is staying out. Leclerc also staying out. So they're going to see what they can do in the clean air, not following me. Just going to optimal pit stop here. Beautiful. Not stuck in any sort of double stack. So Leclerc, Russell, and Sergio Perez have entered the pit lane now. As we approach the back straight here, I think we should be fine beating them out. It's going to be close, I think. Usually my outlaps on the fresh tires are pretty slow just because I don't have those tires fully up to temperature. But this is a little bit of a longer lap. That gives me more time to get the tires heated up. And the pit straight, very long. I don't know why they have it at 60 kilometers. Okay, so Sergio Perez should be coming out fairly soon. Yeah, he's making his way towards the end here. It's going to be close. We actually might be a little bit behind. Oh my god, no, we lose out to both of them. George Russell just coming out, but he's on hard tires. They're both on hard tires. Why are they on hard tires? Why are they on hard tires? They have made a big mistake here. There's only like, what is it, 6 laps, 5 laps left in this race, and they're on hard tires for whatever reason, so we're going to take advantage of that. I don't understand why the AI does that. In my opinion, it kind of just kills the race. Because they're on these way, like, I don't know why. They're on these, like, way harder tires. I mean, Perez is in front of us right now. We still have to pass him. But we are very close to him, and we are gaining on him very quickly. We are going to have DRS on him here as well. Should be a pretty easy overtake, as he still tries to get those hard tires heated up. Here we go with the DRS. Gonna turn on the battery just to be safe here. Lando is actually right behind me as well. So I'm gonna go too wide into, I don't know the name of this corner. I feel like it has a name. I think all the corners have a name actually. But we overtake Sergio Perez. We're now back into P1. With 5 laps in this race, Leclerc is actually in P4. What happened to George Russell? Oh my god. Sergio Perez trying to go too wide into turn 1. We ride the grass a little bit. And this rivalry between Sergio Perez and myself continues as we are fighting for P1 in this Drivers' Championship. Whoever wins between me and Sergio Perez will take the lead. I think Lando, if he's able to win this race, he's in P3. If he wins the race, he can also take the lead of this championship, or it would be very close. So we kind of got this little three-way battle, but right now, it's more between Sergio Perez and I. So we are approaching the final lap here, and Charles Leclerc has just managed to snag the final podium position off of Sergio Perez. If I can get the replay of the broadcast cam up for this, I will have that up because I'm out in front by 2 seconds, and it looks like the battle for P2 is very close, within a second. And Perez and Leclerc are like 3 to 6 tenths within each other. With this DRS zone coming up, I'm sure that gap is going to be majorly reduced. But if Sergio Perez can finish as low as possible here, right now it's looking like P4, that will help us dramatically in this championship, because he won't score as many points, obviously. So simple math. Leclerc still in P3. Sergio Perez on those hard tires, definitely a mistake, because George Russell too, who also came out on the hard tires, he is down in P6, I believe, behind Max Verstappen. So I don't know why the AI go out on the hard tires. It makes absolutely 0 sense in a 25% race. Maybe they just didn't have the extra set of tires. They used them up in qualifying, but still, I think the AI definitely has to adjust for that. Like, they should be doing the soft medium strategy in a 25% race. It doesn't make any sense to me. But we approach the final chicane here as we get ready to cross the line for back-to-back wins here in Great Britain. It's going to be a P1. Lando Norris, I think, in P2. And Charles Leclerc in P3. So we got a double podium for Ferrari, which will also help us in the constructors. Charles Leclerc coming down, or coming back up from, I think it was P6 he started. It might have been a little higher. I'm not sure where he started. But he finishes P3, so that is great for the team here. I will say, this is a great sight to see here as I take the top step of the podium beside the only 2 teammates I've had in this F1 universe. Lando Norris being my teammate at McLaren in my rookie season, taking the 2nd step, and then Charles Leclerc, who's been my teammate for the last 2 seasons, taking the 3rd step of the podium. Sergio Perez loses out to Charles Leclerc on the 2nd last lap of the race, and he finishes P4, which means he only gets 12 points. He lost out on an extra 3 points if he finished on the podium, and he lost out on 13 points if he finished the race where he started, which was pole position. So not the greatest showing for Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen didn't really have a great drive either. He did have a chance to overtake Sergio Perez on the final lap, but he just, I don't know, wasn't aggressive enough. And he only moves up 2 spots, starting from P7, moves up into P5. So maybe he's showing a little bit of wear off of that Drivers' Championship from last season. But with that 25 points, we now take the lead of this Drivers' Championship by 11 points. We're 11 points ahead of Sergio Perez, who is 10 points ahead of Lando Norris, who is 10 points ahead of Max Verstappen, who is 10 points ahead of George Russell. So what are the odds of that? I don't know. It's kind of funny to see 90, 80, 70, 60 points for those drivers. But Charles Leclerc is down in P6 with only 29 points. I will say he did have a pretty great drive this race, starting in P6. And with the grid being so tight this race, the top 7 was all within 2.25 tenths of a second. He managed to climb his way up onto the podium, which is great. Hopefully he can carry this momentum into the back half of the season here. And then in regards to the Constructors' Championship, we are 30 points back of Red Bull right now, and we capitalized almost as much as we could today versus Red Bull, both of us finishing ahead of Verstappen and Sergio Perez. McLaren with 85 points. I don't really think they're in this race for the Constructors' Championship because Robert Schwartzman only has 5 points on the season. He is in P13 in this Drivers' Championship, and I think he's not really ready to be in that McLaren car. And I think he had a better season last year than he did this year. Not a great start for him, not a great first half. But who knows, maybe they'll replace him in this back half of the season to try and get McLaren back into this race for the Constructors' Championship, because it's only halfway through the season, so there's definitely still a chance that McLaren can make some changes and they can get in this race, because they definitely have the car to keep up. Lando Norris finishing in P2 this race, and then Mercedes also just having a bad season. I think Lewis Hamilton is starting to show his age here as he finishes in P10. He started in P5. He might have gone into an incident or something like that, but no incidents reported here on the incident screen. So yeah, maybe it's just his age starting to show here in this F1 universe. He might be calling it quit soon. And I was actually right, as Lewis Hamilton has announced that he is retiring from Formula One at the end of the season, and him being in that Mercedes seat definitely means that there will be a frenzy, or a silly season I should say, come the off season, going into season 4 of this driver career mode series. We haven't had too many retirements this season. The only one has been Fernando Alonso, and his seat was quickly replaced by Carlos Sainz because I took a seat at Ferrari. But I think with Lewis Hamilton gone, it can be one of the top drivers going to the Mercedes seat, and then that will just cause absolute mayhem in the driver market. I hope that it is one of the actual drivers and they don't just sign another rookie, because the Mercedes should be a pretty good car, so they should be getting a top driver to take that seat. However, guys, that is going to be the end of this video. As always, thank you for watching, and if you've watched up to this point, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It is nice to finally finish a race and win, unlike my team career mode series, which if you guys have not watched, you guys can hit the playlist on the side here. Go watch that. Just absolute disaster going on in that season currently. But the driver career mode is a little bit different. It's happy days over here. We got 3 wins on the season out of 5 races, and we got Belgium up next, which I'm a very big fan of, so hopefully it's another good race. We got 2 ultimate upgrades in this car, so I'm expecting a Ferrari rocket ship come Belgium. Hopefully the reliability of the car can hold up, but we will see as we enter the back half of the season, as we chase our first Drivers' Championship. If you guys look forward to that as well, be sure to hit the notification bell so you guys know when that video or these videos come out. And yeah, that is going to be the end of this one, guys. Again, thank you for watching and have a great night.